Hello. I'm going to continue in this video the text The History of Mankind from section 5, and I'm going to read it through and give explanation what I think about the text. And here it starts. Everything starts to look better not until in later times, when the creator systems have been destroyed from the level of modern times into even better functioning. So in later times, it says the creator systems, they've been destroyed from the level they are in modern times, and they will be destroyed, and afterwards they will be even better functioning than they were in modern times. And this means the spiritual system mostly, and this what works in the hidden, in the spirit realm. Although the injustice prevents the level of better functioning of the creator systems at times when all gruesomeness comes the part of humans because they acted very wrongfully earlier in their lives. And this means that the injustice, this prevents the functioning of the creator systems, and this happens at times, so not always. And when it happens, it says the humans might experience this kind of gruesomeness or troubles, and this is because they acted wrongfully earlier in their lives, so in the past lives, or in maybe even in present day's life. Lives are very much similar to each other because humans act usually in a similar way, but outwardly activity might seem very different, and at times it is different otherwise as well. So this means that humans' lives are usually similar to each other. So one person's lives in past lives, reincarnations, and they might be similar to each other, and this is because humans usually act in a similar way, so the spirit entity is the same, so they act in a similar way in each life. Although this says that outwardly activity might seem very different, so the life might be different outwardly, but on the spiritual level they might function very similarly. But it says that times it's different otherwise as well, so otherwise than outwardly. Or in other ways than outwardly also, they might be different at times, the lives of humans or spirit entities in different reincarnations. Although the profile of each person tells his true intentions, which the human follows almost throughout his whole life, at times even eternally. This says that the profile, so the spirit entities, so sort of profile, and each person, it tells the true intentions of the spirit entity, and which the human follows almost throughout his whole life, at times even eternally. So the human follows, the spirit entity of human follows usually the same true intentions throughout his whole life, and this might even mean that even eternally. So if the entity lives eternally, then it might have these same intentions throughout the complete life, eternally even. So the wrongfulness of all the entities functions very reluctantly in relation to the level of action of the creator, because with injustice one can't govern the true level of activity. So the entities' wrongfulness or injustices, they function not very well, or they function badly when compared with the level of action of the creator, and this is because the injustice can't govern true level of activity. So with injustice, the sort of real activity on the level of the true level of activity, it can't be governed. The true level of activity comes from that all things are under control and there are no unconscious things. So this means that the real true level activity, it comes when all the matters are under control and there are no unconscious things, so it happens consciously, the activity on all the things, and then there are no unconscious things in this true level of activity. The unconsciousness of things is allowing very wrongful activity, because then one doesn't think from others anything with justice, because justice can't be taken into notice as unconscious about things. So this means that the unconscious things, they allow this kind of wrongful activity or unjust activity when one isn't so aware of matters, and this is because then the matters aren't thought about with justice. So then, because justice is not able to be noticed when one is unconscious about things, it's quite saying that if there is unconsciousness of things, then one can't, well, it's quite obvious one can't think about it with justice if the matter is unconscious, or if one is unconscious about the matter. So wrongful measures were earlier done as very unconscious, when all matters were wrongful due to the unconsciousness. So in earlier times there were wrongful matters and one was very unconscious about those things, and then it was wrongful, or all matters were wrongful actually, and this was due to this unconsciousness, that one couldn't notice the justice or injustice in those when they weren't conscious matters. Very wrongful entities are the most destructive when, again, the creator's deals do well for everything. So this means that these kind of very wrongful entities are actually most destructive to everything possibly, and the creator's deals do well for everything. So this kind of deal with the creator does good for everything, on the contrary. For the entire creator's deals, it is very wrongful to say anything opposing, because the creator's deals function very wrongfully towards those who harm the creator's deals. So this means that the complete creator's deals, it's wrongful to say anything opposing to the creator's deals, and this is because they function very wrongfully towards those who harm the creator's deals. So this says that if one harms the creator's deals, the deals function towards those harming the deals wrongfully, very wrongfully, possibly. It's very wrongful to say anything about the creator's deals to the wrongdoers when everything is wrongful what the wrongdoers ever want to think. So it says it's wrongful to say to the wrongdoers anything about these creator's deals, because then everything is wrongful, or everything is wrongful what these kind of wrongdoers want to ever think. So our new wrongdoers are a burden of later times for mankind. So this means that there are new wrongdoers, and they will be a burden for later times for mankind. It's quite so. And the mankind will see lots of harming, like has also been in the history of mankind. So this only predicts that mankind it will see harmful things, and this has been also in the history of mankind. And for all the wrongdoers, the history of mankind is more wrongful than was even imagined in the spiritual world. So for all the wrongdoers, in the history of mankind, it has been wrongful than was even imagined, and in the spiritual world even so. It has been wrongful towards the wrongdoers, the history of mankind. And during the history of mankind, there has existed everything possible, like storylines, dimensions, strange constructed technologies, activated by the creator, and spiritual activity in every way. So during this complete history of mankind, there has existed everything possible. This means this history of mankind, it means again that it's eternally long, and it's never been known start for it. And these story lives is like lives in stories and dimensions, means like spiritual, different kind of dimensions, and strange constructed technologies. So in the past long ago, there have been strange constructed technologies, maybe even today, and more in the history, of course, and activity aided by the creator, and so the creator has aided the activity of the mankind and the spiritual activity in every way, and so there has been existed in the history of mankind this kind of spiritual activity in every way. And from earlier times, one can gain information through channeling when information from earlier times is saved into the consciousness of entities. So from these earlier times, for very far away and near past times as well, one can gain information through channeling, and this is due to the information from these earlier times. It has been saved into the consciousness of entities, so into the spirit entities. So there is this information saved in the entities themselves, also possibly elsewhere, but it doesn't say about that. So entities gain information from earlier times from their subconscious, because everyone has a connection to the information from earlier times in their consciousness. So this is quite the same matter as in the earlier sentence. So one can gain this information from earlier times from subconscious, so from the spiritual level of oneself, and because well, everyone has connection to the information from earlier time with the help from the consciousness. All our entities have lots of experience from different kinds of lives from earlier times. So it's quite simply that every entity has a lot of experiences from these past lives and in earlier times. The earlier times of the entities caused lots of injustice to entities in modern times. So due to the earlier times of the entities was in modern times a lot of injustice caused. In modern times all our entities functioned so very wrongfully due to earlier times. So due to these earlier times, or past lives lived in earlier times, while the entities functioned wrongfully in modern times, they raised connection into the past times in modern times. The earlier times of the entities are in the consciousness of everyone, when everyone has lots of knowledge about life. So the earlier times of entities, they are in everyone's consciousness, and everyone has so lots of knowledge about life. And also less old entities have lots of knowledge because their knowledge is based on knowledge of earlier times. So the newer entities who are not so old as the older entities, also the younger entities have lots of knowledge, and this is because they have knowledge from the earlier entities, so they have this kind of heritage from the left for the younger entities from the older entities. From all our entities is found the ability to make deals with the Creator when they can heal their lives with the help from the Creator's system. So every entity there is found ability to make these kind of Creator's deals, and with the deals they can heal their lives, it says, and with the help from the Creator's system. So the Creator's system helps to heal one's life with the Creator's deals. Then all the Creator's deals make humans to be better in accordance with the system. So when the healing of one's matters with the Creator's deals takes place, all the Creator's deals make humans better be accordance with the system of the Creator. So all the functions in accordance with the system do lots of their evil work for all our entities, because the systems punish the ones who did wrong in earlier times. So all the functions which are in accordance with the Creator's system, they do a lot of evil work for all our entities. And this is because the Creator's systems, they punish punish the ones who did wrong in the past in the reincarnations or sometime earlier. So there's this kind of punishment from wrong whom did wrong. Such the situation is very common for all the ones who are new in making the creator's deals. So the situation like that, when there is a punishment, is very common for all the ones who are new, who are just new in making the creator's deals, because it makes these punishments, although one did the creator's deals, so it can be a bit mixed situation. With all our entities are very wrongful works being made, because injustice is usually repairing of others from their spirit entities. So this means that the entities, they have wrongful works and which are being made with them entities, and this is because the injustice that this takes place in the world, it's actually repairing of the other from their spirit entity. So it works a bit difficult to explain it, but it means that the spirit entity actually repairs becomes repaired from the injustice it has experienced. So even though it might seem very difficult to be so that the spirit entity actually repairs from injustice it has confronted, but that's what I think it means. And our wrongdoers do lots of their evil work for the destruction of others, which is activity caused by the system. So the wrongdoers, they do a lot of evil work, and this is to destroy others. But this is actually, this activity by the wrongdoers is caused by this creator's system, or the spiritual realm system. And so in the end, and such wrongdoers, it is terrible to watch, but it is always about punishment activity for the entities who have confronted injustice, because such is the activity of this spiritual world. So it says that these wrongdoers do harm to others. It's terrible to watch, but it's even every time or always it's about punishment to the entities who have experienced injustice. And this is such activity of the spiritual world, so it connects to the earlier matter that it's caused by the spiritual world to heal spirit entities from their earlier done injustice by this kind of punishment. All wrongful entities have been during the history of mankind very wrongful. So they have been, every wrongful entity has been very wrongful in the history of mankind. Into the history of mankind belongs wars and famine. So it's quite well known in the present day history as well that there is, in the history, have been wars and famine. The injustices of all the wrongful entities are decreasing with the help from the new system. So the injustices of every wrongful entity, they are decreasing, and this is with the help from the new system. So this means the spirit realm system that is new, it says. All problems are due to the creator because he has wanted injustice to blossom already beginning from earlier times, as long as it doesn't target himself, as long as he is himself fair. So it says that all these troubles and problems are due to the creator, and this is due to that he has wanted this injustice to blossom. So it's like depicting blossoming injustice, and this is from already beginning from earlier times, and this is as long as it doesn't target himself, the injustice, when as long as he is himself fair. So the injustice doesn't target the creator as long as the creator is himself fair. So system functioning wrongfully is so an impossibility, because everything is as bewitched by the creator functioning the least wrongfully, and the creator has constructed the systems with his own activity. When injustice doesn't blossom in the creator's systems for very long. So this says that the system functioning wrongfully, that itself the system functioning wrongfully, it's not possible, so it's impossibility that the system would function wrongfully. And this is because everything is like bewitched or made by the creator to function the least wrongfully. And the creator has constructed these systems with his own activity, and this means that it says that the injustice that blossoms in the systems, it doesn't blossom in the creator's systems for very long. So it's not like always so that it would blossom the injustice in the systems. Our mankind is very wrongful to other entities. It's just mankind is wrongful or unjust to other entities. For all the entities of our mankind have the tolerance to bear injustice decreased. So for all the entities of mankind, the tolerance has decreased, that how much one can bear injustice. For all the entities of the creator, injustice functions very far guided by the creator. So the injustice functions guided by the creator for all the entities. The injustices of the creator are more minimal than any other humans, but this doesn't hold well on the part of physical injustice, because the creator has lived very wrongful lives. So this means that the creator's injustices, they are very minimal, and actually more minimal than any other humans. But this kind of injustice doesn't hold good from the part of physical injustice. So there is like spiritual injustice and physical injustice that are like separate realms, like, and or planes, and this is that the creator has lived very wrongful lives. So the creator has lived very wrongful lives, it says so. And lives are wrongful if all the parts are as cursed. So the wrongful life might be caused when the parts of the entity are cursed, or entities, and cursed parts are given birth from wrongdoing or from the curses of others. So this entity's parts might become cursed due to own wrongdoing of the entity or from the curses of others. So others might curse one to become this kind of, with having these kind of cursed parts. The creator is usually like this, as cursed by others when he is wrongful. So the creator is usually cursed when he has been cursed by others, so not with own wrongdoing possibly, and this is when the creator is himself wrongful. And while being cursed by others, he is usually as a warrior or as a war leader when the creator is very wrongful to all his children. So when he is this kind of cursed state, the creator, he is cursed by others, and this can lead that the creator lives as a warrior or a war leader, and that's when the creator is wrongful to all his entities. So it says so. Well, that's about the history of mankind text. I will later go to other texts and read them and explain them as well as I can. And so that's about it for this video. Have a nice day.